On all levels except physical, I am a wolf.
Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's your favorite off-brand aggro player, and today we're going to be showcasing one of the members of the infamous speed trio in Ran, Conquer Lilius, and Peira. She's largely fallen out of the meta over the past few like months or weeks, but she's seen a big resurgence. Um, One of the reasons she was falling out of the meta is that ever since the DJ buffs, there's a lot of hard and soft counters to her, which makes sense because she's like low key really oppressive. But if you pre-ban DJB because he's oppressive as a standard and anti-aggro cleave pick, I think she has a very good usage in, you know, what she does. She's a fast attack buffer that also provides control. And I think one of the biggest assets of Peira is that she discourages people from racing you. Like, if you first pick Conqueror Lilius, if you aren't known as a speedster, people will race you. But with Peira, it's a little bit different, especially if you slam her down first pick like I do. My opponent is doing a pretty standard draft, but they picked Angel of Light Angelica, so they're not a good person. So you have to show this guy what's good and beat him, you know? To counter the AOL pick, I also picked Hand Guy. I think that's one of the biggest strengths about Peira is that before, while she was a really high committal hero, depending on how you draft, she isn't anymore. I pick Acid here because I have an inkling that they're gonna ban Stenny or Hand Guy, and if one of those two get banned, you're gonna see one of my biggest techs for this RTA season. Well, the RTA season that just happened. So what I expected happened, and my Stenny got banned, and my opponent's probably thinking that I don't have enough damage, but that is a big mistake. I don't press S2 here just in case something weird happens with the skill nullifiers, because it's very important for what's about to happen here. So a lot of DNs are run at like 300 speed, and Acid's damage scales off his speed and their speed. So stuff like this is very possible where he one shots DN if he has attack buff, or even if he didn't have attack buff, it would have been very close. Following up, I S2 and finish off the AOL here to get the barrier, so I can be mitigated from both of the two S3s that are about to happen, which are both AoEs. And the great thing about my Acid is that he's not like 320 sure, but with Wind Rider, he's actually like surprisingly good into standard because against bruisers, you could lap them a lot of times. And I get a lucky defense break here, but okay, this is still winnable. This is still winnable. Like, I just hate my life, but like, nothing new. Like, this is still winnable. Still winnable. Luckily, no counterattacks here. I want to S2 here with Peira, but I have to just wait until I can strip the immunity buff. Yeah. And I get a lucky dual attack, but they're playing shwo, okay? I'm the victim here, not my opponent. Shwo AOL, okay? Like two degen picks. My Peira luckily is tanky enough to survive this. And Shwo's just doing shwo shit and popping off. Like, you already know the drill. Like, if you play Guild Wars near like the top 100, you are more than familiar with this. I'm just praying shwo doesn't counter me. Luckily, she does not. And then this is one of the biggest strengths of Peira that people forget. When it's a like 1v2, 1v3 situation, Peira can CC lock you until you die. And since she cycles so fast, there's a really good chance that she'll do it until Frenzy's high enough to the point where she can actually solo certain team comps. And shwo, of course, like why would shwo not terrorize me? Like, why not? Shwo resists two soul burns, and unless the shwo is running like 210 ER, like I don't, uh, you know. And goodbye to my Peira here. But hopefully my hand guy can finish it off. I soul burn here because what else am I gonna soul burn? Like my tears? Like too late. I'm already suffering. This was like 600 games into my RTA season. Yeah, like my soul's already gone. But luckily, hand guy is so balanced that he does damage, even though he's a support unit. So, it's just this. And then for this video, I want to showcase one of the big strengths about Peira. It's because, like, what are some common picks into Peira that you can think of right now? Like, there's Edward, APOC for like anti-cleave, and Dilibet and Politis. And you know what these units all have in common? They're all incredibly bad into Hwayoung and Sylvan Sage Vivian. Well, except for, like, I guess Rimru's a P unit people pick into Peira, but not that commonly, and ER Solitaria, but those two units are like kind of rare nowadays. And I guess you can make the same argument for like Infernal Kawazu, but again, like, who has that unit built? Like, nobody. And one of the great things about Peira is that you don't actually have to press S2 or S3. You can just S1. And her job's already done by dictating the draft. Like, my opponent drafted in such a way that if I ban AOL, Hwayoung or Sylvan Sage Vivian, either one of them can solo their team because their team doesn't have enough damage with Escort and did their own passive damage mitigation. And I feel like this is like one of the best ways to use Peira if the opponent's not racing you. Like, I think ironically Peira's weakest into racing because while Rand and Conquer Lilius can, like, like Rand can kill other speed openers by himself, and Conquer Lilius can like either drag someone with their S1 or just push someone back. Peira can't do either of that reliably unless she has souls to like stun their Rand, for example. Which is why I like to pair my Peira with Steny, but I don't know why I didn't. It's probably because I didn't pre-ban Bellion. Because my Peira at the time was a bit slower, so I wasn't as confident in my speed contest, so I had to ban Rand. But yeah. My opponent is getting punished for playing not at 300 speed. It's epicseven. Like, what can you do? I S3 into APOC, so she's forced to S3 here unless she wants to use it on nothing. And look at this big cope that's about to happen. Like, Escort, people are saying like, wow, SC Arrow provides so much damage mitigation, but like they forgot about Peira. Peira did it first. Peira walked so Arrow could like slowly jog, I guess. But yes, I guess you could do the same thing with what's her face, Spirit Eye Celine. But to be honest, Sylvan Sage Vivian is a lot easier to gear than Spirit Eye Celine because she can be run on crit set, and like defense and HP subs aren't like wasted. Like, you still want some because you don't want her to be like 800 defense and 8k HP, or else like even like Soul Weaver S1s will start proccing your insight. So yeah. And then super fun stuff. And you can ER check a bunch of stuff because BBKs and other degen units like Kayron are either built at like 130 to resist like your typical Idas and Politises with more damage, or they're built at like 250 plus ER to check harsh debuffers, but they all do really poorly into these kind of anchor units. And the best thing about Hwayoung and Sylvan Sage Vivian is they beat APOC 1v1 normally, unless they're like on counter and they counter like every single hit. But other than that, pretty good. I don't know why opponent's still here because he's just gonna get flushed by Sylvan Sage Vivian. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's just a great time when you win, And then there's also like like people have like a lot of cope arguments about Peira. Like, I'm not trying to be a Peira stan. Like, I just want people to know that Peira is like this good. Like, people have a lot of like cope arguments. Like, what if they draft like Dilibet Politis or Dilibet Celine? Like, I'll show you what happens. Cause being frank, Dilibet and Celine are dead tempo units if they don't do anything. Do you know what I mean? Like if Celine doesn't get an attack buff with her S2 and can S3 someone, she's not that threatening. Like Dilibet, if she doesn't like CR push and cut with the fence off, she doesn't really do damage and she doesn't really threaten anybody either. Oh yeah. Throwback to my 290 Bunny Dom days. Those were like fun, I guess. Punishing Concorliuses. My opponent thinks I'm banning Celine and opts to ban Bunny Dom, but like no, I'm crazy. I literally don't give a fuck if my Peira does nothing. Because Peira did her job. She disincentivized the speed race, and it's already over. This dual attack actually hurts me in the long run because my Opsig would have given attack buff and it would have done more damage, but whatever, doesn't matter. My opponent drafted themselves into a hole. I can S2 their Celine. Even my Garbo damage stat Opsig does enough damage. And then from here on out, it's basically over because Delvet by herself doesn't do enough damage to this team anyway with the skill nulls and escort to actually kill anything. So we're all good. And yeah, there definitely is videos where like Peira, Caesarea, Peira, Ida, but like those are boring. Like we've seen that. Like if you want to see that, just go watch another YouTuber who was playing the last 2 RTA seasons and you'll see a lot of that. You know? For the last game that I'm gonna show, you already know this is the theme of the video. Like we're a Peira stan. We love Peira. My opponent picks APOC. Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you? Like the most balanced unit of the season. And let's see what my opponent picks. But I'm already hovering Hwayoung because Hwayoung's like fair and balanced TM. Like I'm actually quite sad she's getting nerfed because she's kind of my go-to answer for these like really annoying standard picks like Destina, Senya, Bellion, APOC, Valencia, Rylet, Violet, like all of those. Yeah, my opponent, you already know, they pick dead tempo units, so I'm about to punish them so hard. I don't know. Yeah, this draft's kind of weird. This was an Emperor, I think. Yeah, my opponent picks a very cleavable draft, which is kind of sus, but like maybe they have a master plan in mind, but no, I can Exodia draft them with this team. I just ban last because the top 4 has no problem with dealing with. But my picks don't have any problem dealing with their top 4, so I'm just free to have fun and press my buttons. Yeah, like they pick Sage Ugly. Sage Ugly doesn't let me have fun, so that's not allowed. You know the drill. Yes. So, oh no, I can't press S2 or S3. Oh, good thing my S1 still provides a lot of value. Phew. Yeah. Anyway, Acid goes into the DPS Politis, but apparently this DPS Politis was kind of tanky, so I guess, like, sure, cool. My closer, luckily, is able to finish him off. And then, I don't want this APOC having a turn, so I kick this Dilbert. And APOC is stunned, so she's sad, and Stenny needs to do some back-breaking work here, and also be on lifesteal set, I guess, to sustain my damage, but it looks like they're on like speed or destruction, whatever. They're forced to actually kill my Peira because my Peira is about to go into stealth if he doesn't. So APOC is left here with 3 really bad targets to try and hit because Acid is a 50-50. Closer Charles is a 30-70, and Hwayoung is just like fair and balanced with like, it's Adam and Orient, like the crit damage reduction one with a huge barrier. So he chose to go for the 50-50, which is like correct. His Apoc's about to die, but we're the superior player and we just luck sack them. So, excuse me. Bam. Oh, that was kind of pathetic, Acid. Like, come on. Yeah, but it's over. Like, this Stenny is not going to do enough damage. But yes, please join my Peira MLM. She is a good unit. This is mine. She recently got upgraded because of this banger weapon, which has, wait for it, 24 speed. Disgusting. It's okay. I was pretty like lax with daily, so SG was like, yo fam, don't quit on us, we'll give you some speed bangers. I got this ring on the same day, so my guild was like, what the fuck, who were you paying at SG? But yeah, just get a 311 Peira and slam it down first pick. I guarantee results. But thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.